Jazz music makes use of something called extended chords, which helps gives it its unique and colorful sound. Well, today I'm going to explain what these are and how to play them on the piano. Okay, a couple of things first. You need to know about triads. I'm not going to go over all the different types of triads right now. I will provide a link to you in the description for a playlist on those. But all a triad, what you need to know is a 3-note chord, because this is what the entire lesson after this is based on. So just remember a triad, 3-note chord. Let's get on with the lesson. Which takes us to what extended chords are. Extended chords are basically when you start adding notes beyond the 3-note triad. So you have triads, 3 notes. Then you have one with 4 notes. Is that called a quad chord? No, that would kind of make sense though. It is called a 7th chord because the distance between the bottom note and the top note is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See? Now, this is important because all of the names of these chords have to do with what number they are in terms of the interval from the note you're starting on, called the root. So if you have C, right, the second above C is D, and then a third is E, F is 4, 5 is G, 6, as you can see, as you go up 1, 7, octave. We all know what an octave is, I think, 8 notes. And then you have a 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and it goes on beyond that. So that will really come into play when we start talking about these types of chords, which we'll do right now. Okay, 7th chords, right? I was just talking about those a second ago. You have your triad, and then you have your 7th, 7 above the roots. There are 5 types of 7th chords. We're not going to go over those today, but like I said, I will put some videos in the description in case you want to learn more. But all you need to know for this lesson is that a 7th chord has 4 notes, and then the bottom and top note are 7 apart. Okay, now we are on to 9th chords. So as I mentioned, it all has to do with the distance from the bottom note to the top note as to how to construct these chords. So let me show you. You have, this is a C major triad made up of the notes C, E, and G. That's your triad. You have a 7th chord if you add a B. So each time we're just kind of skipping a note and adding another one. Just like that. So that is a 9th because you have a what we call a root, the note you start with, a 3rd, 3 notes up, 5th, 5 notes up, 7th, and then there is your 9th. So that is how you construct a 9th chord. Let me show you what that looks like on the sheet music. Okay, this is what a 9th looks like on the sheet music. So again, I'm just going to go over them on the sheet music here. You have the root, you have the 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th. So as you may know, every time you go up a line or up a space, if you're starting on spaces, you're actually skipping every other note. So you're going up 2 each time. So every time you're adding one of these extensions, you're just really adding, I always say a triad kind of looks like a snowman. It's evenly stacked like that. You're adding, bodies to the snowman, extra parts. Each time. So, for the next chord we're going to talk about, I'm just going to draw a circle right here, but we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So one thing you have to know about 9th chords is that they sound, they almost have a dreamy quality to their sound. Okay, one thing I want to show you with 9ths is that you can alter them. You can change the 9th by raising it up a half step, so making it sharp, or lowering it half step, making it flat in this case. So if I played it like this, it would be called a C flat 9th. This is regular, just C9, and this is C sharp 9. One thing I want to tell you is that it's very common for this chord, this B, to be flat with the 9ths. So just letting you know that for each of these notes, just like the triad below it, you can raise them or lower them, and that changes the sound of the chord. On sheet music, it will look like this. Okay, now we're going to talk about 11th chords. You can read that if you want. It basically does the same thing as with the ninth chord. So let me show you what this looks like on the piano. So like I said, each time we're adding an interval. So you have your triad made of a root, third, fifth, you have your seventh, ninth, and then your 11th, you're just skipping one from the ninth and adding a note right there. Just like with the ninth, I need to mention that you can either sharp the ninth, and it would be called a sharp ninth chord, C sharp 9 in this case, since C is at our root. And then what about C flat 11? I meant to say sharp 11 if I didn't before. So there's sharp 11, and then here is flat 11. So why is there no flat 11? Well, if you notice, when you lower that F to E, well, hey, we already have E lower in the chord, so there actually is no flat 11 chord, because that would just be the same as a major chord. You're just doubling what we call the third. Let me show you what this looks like on the sheet music. Okay, so we're just adding a note above on the next line of where we were. So, like I said, you can sharp it for sharp 11, but you can't flat it, because flatting this E, or flatting this F rather, is the exact same note as that E. So that would just be a doubled note. So no need to designate a chord for that particular case. So let's get on to the next chord, which is the 13th chords is what we're talking about now. So you can probably guess already about how we put this together. So you're really just adding another note. So you have C, E, G, B, and then the D for 9, F for 11, and then you just skip another note. And that gives you the 13th. You once again can raise the 13th to be a sharp 13, and then you can lower it to be a flat 13. And this time you can have the sharp and flat versions of it. Let me show you what this looks like on the sheet music. Okay, here we have the 13th chord with all of the other numbers added in between. So we have our root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and our 13th. So again, like I mentioned before, you can put a sharp on that puppy, and it will make it a sharp 13th. And if you want to put a flat on it, it will make it a flat 13th. How about that? You can also have different combinations of these extensions, by the way. So you could have something like a flat 9, flat 13, or something like that. In another lesson, I'm going to show you exactly the notation on what it would look like, with the letter and the numbers and how they would look like that. One thing I want to explain to you, though, is that the chords I'm talking about often don't look the way I was showing you them on the sheet music. And you may be wondering, well, why is that? Why would you show us that in the first place? I just showed you that first way to kind of explain how we're adding notes on top of one another each time. But when we're talking about these extended chords, they look something more like this. They use something called open voicing. This is another lesson all on its own, and I'm not going to go very deep into how this works because I don't want to confuse you. I just kind of want you to understand how we're building these extended chords. So one thing, let's take a look at the keyboard now. Actually, let's take a look at the everything view so we can kind of see what's going on with everything. Okay, so here is a C ninth chord. You have your C, your root actually, and then you have your sevenths just on the left hand alone. Then you have your third up here and your ninth. And actually, what's common is that they will leave out the fifth of the chord, which as you remember was the G. And that's because really the G isn't quite as important as some of the other notes in designating what kind of chord it is. Now sometimes you do want to use the fifth if you're talking about like augmented or diminished triads or things like that. But the point is that often you won't see ninth chords like this. You'll see them like this. And they just have a better sound when you play them like that, because as you probably could start to tell when I was playing the 13th, and especially the flat 13th and things like that, it sounded downright awful. And you're like, really? That's a jazz chord? That doesn't really work. Well, that's why, and that's why they space them out. It gives it a much better, and that sounds a lot more like jazz to you probably than the chord I was playing before. So just letting you know, they use something called open voicing. Okay, now I want to tell you about my website, because if you really like the lessons I put out here on the channel, you're really, really going to like the website, because it has... You're really, really going to like the website because it has a lot of the same style of instructional videos that you see here on YouTube, except they are exclusive to this website. They're organized into courses. I have over 25 courses in all. They have instructional videos, but they also have a lot more than that to really help enhance your learning. So you have printable sheet music examples. You have printable sheet music, like real songs to practice to help guide you along. You also have online activities. You have printable worksheets. A lot of things that you would expect, out of an online course. So go over to pianolessonsontheweb.com. Just go here, and I recommend reading about. So just go here, and I recommend reading about what the website can offer you. So as you take a look down here, it is compatible with PC, your mobile device. I recommend you at least look at it on a tablet or a PC, even just because of the bigger screen. Kind of helps, but you can view all this stuff on your mobile phone, but you can also download this everything pretty much for a later viewing. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that you can purchase courses in course packs to get a better deal. So for the beginners pack, which is $39.99, you get 4 courses in one. Normally courses are $29.99 a piece. So you get a pretty good deal on these if you're just kind of stepping into music for the first time. This is something I highly recommend. By the way, if you use the code YouTube, you can get 15% off any order, no matter what kind of courses you buy or what kind of course packs you buy. Which brings me to the next thing. As you can see, there's an intermediate, advanced pack, or you can get all the courses all in one. The intermediate pack, as you can see, costs a little bit more, but what I want to tell you is that it has 9 courses included, so it has a lot more to offer. So once you get past that beginner's pack, investing in the intermediate pack is the way to go. And once again, that 15% off coupon by using YouTube on your checkout will get you that discount as well. You can also purchase the courses individually. So if you just want to learn, introduction to piano music, just to kind of try it out, again, the code YouTube works for that one as well. Also, if you kind of browse around on the site for these courses, clicking on the individual ones, you can view the course descriptions, which will tell you about the courses. You can watch a sample video in case you're curious on what the video, one of the videos might be like. If you have any questions, email me, tim@lessonsontheweb.com. But just remember to use the code YouTube to get 15% off. So remember, pianolessonsontheweb.com, and just go there and read about it and learn about it and how it can really help you even much more beyond the YouTube channel. Okay, students, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. What I highly recommend you do is check around the channel for playlists. I'm actually going to put them up on the screen here and in the description about how to learn more about chords. So especially if you don't know about triads or seventh chords and you want to kind of get your feet wet with those, to learn that and maybe come back to this lesson and watch it again so you understand even better. You really want to check out that playlist. Also throw up another playlist as well for after you have mastered this lesson and where to go from there. So I hope everybody enjoyed the lesson today. This has been Tim from Lessons on the Web, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you so much.